And thanks for joining me today as we look at some items for our CTE Administrators Update. We'll cover some information that was shared with us from TEA just a couple of days ago, and then we'll also share some other information with you as we go on through our webinar today. As always, I like to use live binders, and so I have added the information to the 2015-16 CTE Resources Live Binder. To get to the CTE Live Binders, if you'll go to the Region 7 homepage and then go to Departments, scroll down to Federal Programs, go across to Career and Technical Education, click on that. That gets you to the CTE homepage. And you'll notice there is a link right down here for our CTE Live Binders. We also have some printable CTE resources, some non-traditional posters, some targeted occupation handouts that you can download and print off. Take a look at those and use those however you would like to. We're going to go to the CTE Live Binders for today. And as I mentioned, we're going to be using the Live Binder of the 15-16 CTE resources. So if we click on Present, you'll see the different tabs there across the top. And we're just going to start. We'll cover pretty much that first row of tabs this morning in our webinar. The first one is the Texas Genuine tab, and that is a link to the Texas Genuine website. They will be rolling out a new updated version of this website in mid-January. This website will have a lot of free resources for students as well as teachers. When we look at some of the items that will be available, you're going to have a career assessment on there, also some career exploration tools. It'll pertain to all 16 career clusters, have salary ranges for different occupations, and then some information about CTE programs in Texas in general. It probably won't be quite as detailed when we talk about the career assessment piece of it. Won't be quite as detailed as what you might see in, say, Cooter or Career Cruising, but then again, it also will not take as long for the students to work their way through. Probably somewhere in that 8 to 10 to 12 minute range for the students to work their way through the career assessment tool. And from what I understand, the way it's set up, after they complete it, they'll receive an email with their top 3 career clusters that their interests and the way they answered the questions in that career assessment, which clusters they most aligned with. And so they'll get those career clusters, and then they can take that information and look at various occupations within those career clusters. This is the way the Texas Genuine website looks today. The Find Your Future, that's the career assessment link. And then, of course, you see the other ones down here. You can look at different colleges, find specific programs of study if they have narrowed it, if your students have narrowed it down that far, and then, of course, some information on different careers. The format of that website will probably change when they roll out their updated website in January. But as soon as that is available, we will send that information out to our listservs, and so be looking for an email for that. Also tied in with the Texas Genuine website will be Empower Texas. It used to be a standalone site, and now it's going to be combined with Texas Genuine, and it's an opportunity for professional development for educators or even parents or students could even work their way through that. I'll go ahead and go to this tab, and you'll see the way it is set up now. It is actually an e-course. There are 7 modules set up for this course. I will go ahead and log in, and you can see what it looks like. Right now, I'm not sure exactly how this is going to change once it's combined with the Texas Genuine website, but this is what it looks like right now. You'll notice over here on the left-hand side, you can start that e-course. It is free. You just go in and set up your free account, and there are the 7 modules. Now, if you look at the title of these modules, you'll notice this first one, the purpose of career and technical education, and then components. So it's, in my opinion, it would be very valuable for some of your non-CTE teachers to complete these modules. At the end of each module, they get a PDF certificate of completion, and we are working here at the Service Center to get it set up so that when they complete all 7, they email those certificates to us, and they can get their CPU credit for completing this online course. And again, as soon as we have that all set up here at the Service Center, we'll be sending out that information by email. But a great opportunity here for your non-CTE teachers to become acquainted with CTE programs and courses and what the purpose is behind that. Just in the last couple of weeks, I've been asked by some non-CTE teachers, can you explain CTE to me? I want to get some more background in CTE. Where do I need to go? Where can I get that information? This would be an excellent source for that. Of course, as CTE administrators, and people that are involved with CTE every day, we understand the importance of it. We understand how it fits into House Bill 5 and the Foundation High School program. And we just need to make sure that everybody on our campus understands that so they can help with the recruiting aspect into some of those CTE courses. They can just kind of help keeping our kiddos on track. It's a great opportunity here, I think, and a really good resource in this particular e-course. Again, that is the Empower Texas website, and that will be tied in with the Texas Genuine new website when it is up and going. You can also do a Google search for it right now, Empower Texas, and it'll bring you to this site, and you could go in and go ahead and set up your free account. If you want to start working your way through that course, you can do so now. Another item that we heard about in our CTE TE10 this week is the 60 by 30 program, or initiative rather. And basically what the idea is that for Texans ages 25 through 34, that particular age group, the initiative is to have 60% of that age range with some sort of post-secondary credential by the year 2030, which is, and we think, okay, 60%, so where are we now? Right now we're probably down around that 25-30%, so it's almost doubling the numbers by the year 2030. And that post-secondary credential, either going through some sort of certificate program or getting an associate's degree, bachelor's degree, whatever the case may be. This is a PDF document that it kind of explains the program and explains the initiative, and I have downloaded it. Let me pull it up right quick. And as we look at that, as you go through here, this particular document, in my opinion, has some really great information. We scroll down through here, and it gives some background about higher education in Texas and where we are, and some pretty neat graphics and charts and graphs all through here that show where those percentages are in our different subpopulations as far as the number that are achieving some sort of post-secondary credential. This bar graph right here that you see, it's comparing that target age range at 25 to 34-year-old group with the 55 to 64-year-old group, and you'll see Texas and the United States and then several other countries around the world. And by and large, you would think that the 25 to 34-year-old group would have a higher percentage of those that are achieving some sort of post-secondary credential, some form of higher education, when you compare it to the 55 to 64-year-olds, be that kind of that baby boomer generation. You would think the younger ones would have a higher percentage, and in most instances that is the case. However, in Texas, it's actually a little bit lower. You'll notice there that 25 to 34-year-olds, we're down here at 35% of that age range having some sort of post-secondary credential. And so that's a kind of a big concern when we look at having a viable workforce here in Texas and having opportunities available for students after high school and as they continue on and go out into the workforce. It also has some information in this document about the percentage of jobs that will be available with only a high school diploma over the next 15 or 20 years, and the economic impact that it'll have on the here in Texas, and some the impact it'll have on workforce, and of course attracting businesses and industries into Texas. So a document that's full of a lot of good information. And so I encourage you to either print it off or use it in electronic form and go through there, highlight information, pull out information, share this information not just with your teachers and people in your CTE department, but share it with your district leaders, your superintendent, share it with the school board. Let them see what's out there. Again, it's the 60 by 30 plan, and this was started, or the initiative was started, and the report put out by the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. So some good information there. I encourage you to read through that and look at that information. Of course, as we look through that, I always want to come back, and especially when we get to this time of year, districts are starting to plan next year and look at what courses are going to be offered and which way we're going. So I encourage you to go back and review Chapter 74 and the graduation requirements for the Foundation High School program, and not just for the foundation plan, but then also for those endorsements. When we look at the foundation plan, go in there, pay special attention to all of the courses that can count for those core credits. When we get in that math and science area, all these CTE courses that can count for a science credit. Are you offering those? Do you have plans to offer those? Do you make sure that your campus leaders and whoever is putting out those course offerings or publishing that course selection book or guidelines or whatever the case may be in your district, making sure that they understand that some of these can be used for those advanced science credits. And then, of course, also making sure that you've got a certified teacher to teach those. Now, with the CTE courses, the math and science ones, and floral design also comes in there. We talk about mainly your math and science. With those courses, those modules that were in Project Share. Of course, Project Share went away back in August, so those have not been available. Those courses have not been. TEA told us that they should be back online sometime this winter. We don't have an exact date, but as soon as we do, we will send that out. So if you have a teacher in your district that needs to complete that online training or those modules, please be looking for that information this winter. And when those become available, have that teacher log in and get started on those just as soon as possible. So again, go through there, look at Chapter 74. If you get to a point where you're like, I'm not sure exactly how this needs to be interpreted, please give me a call at the Service Center, or several other people. Lisa Green down in our CIA division, she works a lot with graduation requirements. She can probably help you. Sherry Wright, our guidance and counseling specialist, she can also work with you on some of those graduation credits and how it all fits together. The information on the endorsements, again, as often as possible, I encourage you to, if you have questions, always go back to what's written in statute. Go look at that code. And again, if you need help deciphering any of that, or just want information about how other districts have interpreted this, please don't hesitate to call or email. I'll be more than happy to help you with that. Along the same lines with Chapter 74 is the graduation toolkit. Many of you have seen this. You're probably already using this in your district. This is right off the TEA website. It's just kind of a condensed version. A great tool, I think, for using in parent meetings. Maybe if you are meeting with some of your 8th grade students and parents, or maybe 9th grade, whatever the case may be. This might be a document that you want to print off, or print off pieces of it, use it in some form or fashion to help explain that Foundation High School program and those endorsements and how it all fits together. But it seems to be a pretty user-friendly type document, so I just wanted to remind you about the availability of that item there. Another website that has undergone some changes in the last couple of months is the Achieve Texas website. It still has resources on there for teachers, and if you follow some links in here, you can get to those live binders that have teacher resources in them. But the one thing that I want to point out today is this Programs of Study right here on their homepage. If you click on that link, you'll notice that all 16 career clusters pop up over here on the right hand side, and it does have programs of study or samples of programs of study in each of those, of course, tying back to that Texas Genuine Assessment that I mentioned earlier. And we can go into any of these. Let's just click on Finance for Grins. And each of these start off the same way. They all have a critical reading activity, which may be an activity that you want to share with your teachers. It's always good to promote critical reading for our students. So I encourage you to share that with your teachers and see if they can work it into their courses in some way, shape, or form. There are links here for different programs of study in this finance cluster. Let's just take a look at the financial manager. All of these basically look the same. When they pop up, they will show up as an Excel spreadsheet. And you'll notice down here there are tabs across the bottom. This one happens to be the recommended high school program. So for those of your students that are still on the 4x4, this is the one that you would use for them. You'll notice right up here at the top you have these ONET careers. Also, in some of these cells in this spreadsheet, you get this little pop-up box that gives you a little more information about what's in the box and some hints about how to use it. If you are not familiar with the ONET website, you can click on one of these careers up here. Takes you to ONET Online. And we'll just follow this just for a little bit. If you click on an occupation there, you'll get the summary report for it, and it will tell you what type of tasks are involved on a daily basis, the tools and technology, what type of knowledge is needed, the skills, the abilities. You get down here to the bottom, what education is required, and then you can also find certifications that go along with that, or find training opportunities. Those could be junior college or a four-year university, and then some other items. One of the really neat things that I have recently discovered about this ONET website is, for instance, on the tools and technology, if I'm looking at some of the tasks here, mail charge statements to customers. If you click on this plus sign over here, what it does is that it gives you related occupations that also utilize that task. And you'll see here that this is just a partial list that pops up. There are 16 other related occupations in which you'll see this task of mail charge statements to customers show up. Tools and technology, whether it's this particular occupation or maybe something a whole lot different. For instance, we can click on scanners, and there are several, over 200 related occupations that will also be using scanners. So just a little bit different way for your kids to gather information about occupations. They may be reading through here and decide that, okay, the credit authorizers really isn't the occupation I was looking for, but I do like, maybe I like speaking. And so what other occupations utilize that skill? And so you can go and then maybe they can find another occupation to explore and do some research on. But a pretty handy website, that ONET online website. If you haven't had a chance to use it, I highly recommend it. Going back to the program of study, here through Achieve Texas, you'll see they have it divided up between all of the high school grades. Over here on the right-hand side, the curricular experiences, extracurricular experiences, and these are not protected. You can go in and download a copy, and then you can customize these. You can add or delete information, modify it any way, shape, or form to fit the program of study in your particular high school. Gives you some suggestions for college credit opportunities. Also some certificates that could possibly tie in to this particular program of study somewhere along the way. Doesn't specify a grade level or what particular course they may tie into, but some certificates that you might want to take a look at. And we get down here to the bottom, and they have links to the associate degrees and advanced degrees from there. So if you click on that, it will give you some college courses that would apply for that associate degree. So if you have a student that maybe wants to pursue this and they're looking for some college credit, of course, always check with the community colleges and check with their advisors or the four-year university that the student may transfer to and see and make sure that they're in the right course. But this could give you an idea of where to start looking for some of those particular college level courses. So that's kind of how those programs of study work. And we will close out of that one and go back to, if I can find the right tab, we will get back. There we are. And again, if we go back, remember you have all 16 career clusters, and you'll have one of those, some of those programs of study models in each of those 16 career clusters. So I encourage you to take a look at that, see if you can pull one down and maybe modify it for your particular high school or district. Another website that I would like for you, or ask that you share with your counselors, is the Scholar website, and we'll follow that link there that's in the live binders. It's put together by some folks over at Region 12, and they are trying to get this out to as many counselors as possible. They really want some feedback on this and make sure that they are providing good, solid information in a usable format. That's their whole purpose behind this. They want this to be a very user-friendly interface, and they want it to be a source of good material for counselors. Each of these tabs up here has a drop-down menu, and so as you look through there, you'll notice there are several topics under each of those. And so please pass along this website to your counselors or dean of students or anybody that might be connected with this, and let them look through this and explore some of the links that are available in these drop-down menus, and then either contact the folks here down here at the bottom, or either me here at the Region 7, or Sherry Wright, also in the guidance and counseling specialist here at Region 7, and just give us some feedback. Let us know what you think about it, and if your counselors are finding that to be a useful site. And let me kind of check my notes here for the from our CTE TETN. One of the items that they mentioned is that the Student Attendance Accounting Handbook for 2015-16 is on the TEA website. So here is the link to the TEA website. You scroll down and you'll notice here's a PDF version of the entire handbook. Over here on the right hand side is the PDF version of just the change document. And so you can pull that up and scroll down. The CTE part of the Student Attendance Accounting Handbook is in Section 5. So we'll scroll down to Section 5 and take a look at some of the changes. One of the changes that, or it looks like an addition, because if there was something in there last year, it would have been over here in the left-hand column. So this is new, and it's just addressing any teachers that may be teaching under the school district teaching permit. Basically, it's saying that if they're teaching that CTE course, that course is still eligible for the weighted funding. If they're teaching under that school district teaching permit, which is came along with House Bill 2205 in this last legislative session. Again, how do you know if you're eligible for that contact hour or that weighted funding? Your district must offer at least one coherent sequence of courses in at least 3 different career clusters. That I believe every district in our region has that covered. Some more information on eligibility of funding, going to that back to the CO22 table, looking at those CTE courses. Remember that practicums are specific to a career cluster. The career prep course is more broad, kind of general, but those practicums are specific. So you would have a practicum in ag, food, natural resource, or a practicum in finance, or whatever the case may be. Some more information about your practicum course eligibility requirements. That paid practicum related classroom instruction must average 1 class period a day for every school week. Your training plan requirements, and then this one right down here addresses the CTE courses, and basically those CTE courses must be taught by a teacher that's qualified and certified to teach the regular form of that particular CTE course. Going back to the training plan documents, one thing that they have adjusted on those, if you do a Google search for the training plan agreement, or actually if you go on the TEA website and in their search box put in training plan agreement, you'll end up, the top two that show up are a training plan agreement for paid work-based instruction and unpaid. And the change that they made, when you get down into the bottom part of it, it's in the non-discrimination statement. They have a blank here for the name of the school district and also the name of the business. So both of those need to be filled in on that training plan agreement. Let me pull up the, that's the one I just had. Here is the unpaid training plan. And again, the same thing, a blank for the name of the school district and for the name of the business to be included in that non-discrimination statement. Okay, I believe that is going to pretty much wrap it up for our update. Again, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to call me at 903-988-6810, or you can email me at aknight, that's AKNIGHT, at esc7.net. Thanks so much for joining us today and for watching the recording. If I don't get to see you in the next week or so, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we look forward to seeing you again after the first of the year. Take care and have a great day.